Hey guys, I'm here answering some of your questions for LEAP, and I'm excited, so let's get this going. My name is Zach Hess, and I'm in the Broadway company of Frozen, and I'm originally from California, Southern California, a little town called, not little, but like I guess compared to LA, it's called Tustin. It's near Disneyland, and that's where I grew up. And my first memory of theater, well, I remember seeing, I mean, I know now that Segerstrom Center is where the touring companies go, where I'm from. And I remember going to see Oklahoma, and it was on tour. It must have been the Revival tour. But yeah, I went and my parents got, me and my mom went and saw it, and I just remember being so blown away by like the dancing and the singing, and like all of it together was so cool to me. And I was just like, my jaw was on the floor, and I just couldn't, I was just like, I want to do what those guys are doing so bad. And I just wanted to, it was just, it looked so fun. And so yeah, that's my first memory of kind of wanting to steer my life there. What do I do if I have a bad day? I sort of just let myself have a bad day. I don't really think that I need to, because I feel like if I try to like make myself not have a bad day, it'll make it worse. I don't know, for some reason, for me. And so I just sort of like, all right, you know what, today is just gonna be not the best, but tomorrow it's gonna be good, because not every day is a bad day. Anyway, do I have a hobby? I love to play my guitar. I had my piano shipped over from my old place, so I need to start getting on that. But yeah, I definitely like to instruments and keep that pot stirring, I guess. Lewis Thorpe asks, hey Zach, what originally inspired you to want to do musical theater? Well, for as long as I can remember, I just loved to dance. My parents have these videos of me dancing around the living room to Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, and just the same loop of the dance scenes just over and over and over again, you know, and so clearly they were like, all right, we got the hint, he wants to be in dance. And then I sort of didn't really realize I could like sing until high school, college, and then I sort of was like, well, I guess I should start to do the combination, do musical theater. So I would say what originally inspired me was probably just watching the, dance from music and theater. I think it's such a powerful tool because it's so it's so character based, and it's not just dancing for dancing. It's like, it's the, there's a reason for it, and yeah, so that's probably what originally inspired me. Jenny Smart asks, is this your first Broadway show? Yes, it is. Yeah, it's this was my Broadway debut, and it was incredible. It was honestly very lucky that I had a Broadway debut with such a show like Frozen, and with Disney, because it was very extravagant, and which was great. It's I guess something I never thought I would be able to. It was just the stars aligned, fortunately, and sometimes it does, and for a lot of the times it doesn't, and so that's why it's nice when it does. And how does it feel to be on Broadway? It feels great. It really does. It feels amazing that I'm able to bring a message of love to the masses, which is great. And I'm very grateful for my job, and it's great, and it's a great company to work for. Sarah Gent asks, how did you get to Broadway? I think just sort of like finding those opportunities that you can be like, okay, I know that I can get something out of that, even if it's sudden, or if it's like, it's just sort of like being able to be flexible, and being able to go with the punches, because that, you have to see something through to get it. And so and so after I did a couple years on cruise ships, I went back home and auditioned for Billy Elliot. I think it was the regional premiere down at La Mirada, and I was cast, and I just asked. I was like, listen, I just want my equity card out of this. So like, I don't care what part, whatever. I just want my equity card. And they're like, great. So I did the ensemble of that and got my equity card from it. And then I moved to New York and was like, there's no more excuses. So moved out there and auditioned for Book of Mormon. And, you know, after 6 months of working at non-theater things, you know, of course. And then I got seen for Book of Mormon and I got cast in the tour. And then when I got back from that, I used that credit to talk to higher people, and then I got an audition for Frozen. It was good timing too. Like I had just gotten back and they needed tall people, and it was just like, that was like, okay, great, let's go. Let's like jump on this. And I didn't even know what was happening, so I just went into it, and luckily it was just like the perfect niche, I guess, of like what they needed. And so it was just very lucky, you know. It's like I said, like when stars align. It's crazy. So that's sort of how I got here. Long story short, I guess. Long story long. All right, next question. Christina Collins asks, what made you convinced that you could and would do performing as a career? I think that once you start seeing yourself be able to succeed at something and being able to profit off of it, then you're like, okay, great, yeah, let's do this. Obviously, there's a window here, so let's try to like make that a bigger window. And all right, Alana asks, were you fortunate to have a direct plan to where you are now, or did unexpected pathways help you to achieve your goal? Well, I mean, a little bit of both. I think once you realize that, like, first of all, you know, I love to dance, you know, and so then that was obviously, I, you know, went to art school, and then like, definitely like theater based, because you know you can work there because you're a guy. You know, for me, I was like, I'm a tall guy and I can sing and dance. So like that's, you know, right off the bat, it's going to be like, great. Someone's going to want to have me in something. And so I think that in that it was a direct way, but everything else was definitely unexpected. And to achieve my goal, I don't really know if this is my goal. I'm a very like go with the flow kind of person. And, you know, I think my goal changes a lot, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It does leave room for it to be like easily changeable, but I think that my goal changes a lot, and definitely things are unexpected, but that's what keeps it like interesting. And it is unexpected in a scary way sometimes, but that sort of lights a fire under your tush to make something else happen. And who knew? And you know, who knows, maybe that door that you had to open is something that you were supposed to open the whole time, and you didn't know until you were forced to have to do that, you know. And so I've found different things that I never thought I would ever be able to do, just because I was like, well, I guess I have to do something, so let's go here and let's do this. What's to say? How do you stay positive when you like don't get a role or something didn't go your way that you dreamed of? I mean, it is tough to stay positive when you keep going in for things and you're like, you know, almost get it, and then it's just something small, like you're too tall, or you're too short, or you just didn't look as good with her as that guy did, or we already have someone that looks like, it's just like, you know, you never know what is gonna at the end of the day, you know what I mean? But all you can do is just be like, all right, well, that's fine. I wasn't supposed to do that one. And you know that you've worked before, so clearly people want to work with you, and you just shrug it off and go, hey, next time. And also, you know, because it's not like they didn't like you, it was just because it just wasn't the right fit this time. And you're going to work with them again. So like, it's fine. This world is so small. It's crazy how small this world is. Every day I'm like, okay, well, clearly we're just going to keep going in circles here because everybody knows everybody, and that's what's great. So, all right, Jess asks, do you have a favorite show that you've been in? Yes, I have. It was not anything that I've done anything recently, and I was not right for it then or am now. But in college, some friends and I, we auditioned for this off-campus like this new theater that was doing spelling bee, and it was definitely based on like who they could get to like be able to sing the role in the first place. And so you know, so a bunch of us were able to do that, and it was probably the funnest. Like, that was so cool. It was just so small and organic, and it was just such a fun time, and that was the most memorable show I've ever done. Fun. And then probably Book of Mormon. That was just really cool to be able to lead something, you know, even though I was, you know, I mean, I was the standby, but I was able to go on enough to feel like I was comfortable up there, and to be able to lead a show like that was, especially for one of my first things that I've done professionally, that was actually really cool. And yeah, so that was great. Yeah, so probably those. What are my dreams beyond Broadway? Well, my dreams, I definitely would love, like, of course I'd love, you know, albums, and I want to make my own music and sing my own songs and touch people and make music that people want to listen to. I think that's something that's incredible and tough these days. So I definitely want to get better at that, and I think that's sort of one of my big dreams that I'm hopefully one day will get realized. This next question is, I love your music on Instagram. Do you write your own songs? Oh, there we go. Do you want to take that further? I have a lot of ideas, and it just takes practice and time, and I'm just sort of being self-taught and just trying to take it that way. And but yes, I definitely want to take it further, and once I have stuff that I feel that is like, I'm proud of this, and I know that like this is something that I don't mind getting critiqued or, you know, all that stuff, then absolutely I'm gonna like start sending them out. Do you ever get anxious or worried being a performer, and how do you cope with that? Like, as a performer on stage, do I ever get anxious? I mean, sometimes I think that, I mean, of course, like, I mean, I go on for a couple of principal roles, and so when I go on for them, initially it's like, okay, what are my lines again? Because you haven't been on for them for a while. But, you know, you just sort of review. I mean, yes and no. I do get anxious, just sort of the things that I'm getting used to. Like, this is my first show of like 8 shows a week, and so it's just the repetitiveness and the muscle memory of it, and sometimes your brain goes blank, but luckily your body knows what it's doing because you've been doing this for a year and a half, and so you're just sort of like, oh my gosh, wait, no, get you know, what are you doing, get back. And so in that way, yeah, you get anxious just for that, or like when you go on for another role or something like that, or when you're trying to, you know, go on for other things and you're auditioning and working at the same time, and that's what's, you know, tough, is when you double duty it. And how do I cope with that? I just keep breathing, really. There's nothing really you just have to be like, yeah, all right, you know, you got this. Or it's just like, or don't be so hard on yourself. That's what I've sort of am trying to do a lot, is not be so like, oh, you need to be this or that, or you know, it's not good enough, or you need to be doing more, or it's just, you know, just being able to be okay with what you're doing right now in this moment, and being okay with that, and being like, you know what, that happened, it's okay, because you'll forget about it in 2 days, you know. So it's like, just calm down, because you're only making yourself more anxious. And yeah, so that's something I've had to do. So this was so fun to talk with you all, and I hope I made sense. I'm not the most articulate person in the world, so I hope that this was all fun, and that you got some questions answered, or some inspiration. And yeah, just keep going. And I love you all. You guys are inspiration to me, and I can't wait to see where everyone goes. And yeah, so talk to you soon. Bye, guys.